Fit the World family, what is up, y'all? It's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you without something to listen to. We're back. Got a special, I can't tell y'all how special of a guest my friend Bad News Lee Swecker is from the old days of Street Beefs, and we're going to get into this. But Lee was our first ever viral video and is still to this day the biggest viewed video in Street Beefs history. Lee, my brother Lee Swecker, Bad News, welcome, brother. And let me ask you, when you came to the yard that day to fight, did you think your video would be seen by 40 million people?
No, not at all. I just needed some stress relief at the time.
I remember, like, you came into the yard, we met you through Noel. Rest in peace to a good brother, man, dearly missed. Met you through Noel, and he came in looking the part of the MMA fighter. He was in shape, had the tight MMA fighter shorts on. He comes in, he fights Jamaican Rude Boy. Rude Boy was a brawler. He wasn't a super experienced guy, but he had won some fights in our yard. Now, when you came into the yard, before that, how many fights had you had in your lifetime?
Sanctioned, I think 5.
And all MMA.
Yeah.
Now, you finished him by rear naked choke. I distinctly remember a couple good body kicks and leg kicks in there.
He ate some knees, too.
He did eat some
He
knees.
didn't have a mouthpiece in. I still have a scar on my knee from his teeth.
Yeah, it was a rough one. To tell y'all the story real quick, okay? I put up their video, and it was moving slow. That don't say nothing about the video. You could have a great video, and it just isn't packaged right, and it won't move good. So about a couple weeks later, I said, I'm going to repackage this. I took it, changed the title to Thug versus Muay Thai fight. Before I did it, I went and talked to Jamaican Rude Boy. I said, look, do you have any problem with me titling you a thug? He said, nah, I've been to jail. What's up? You know? So I did it, and almost instantly, boom, this video takes off. And like I said, think about this. We've been doing this 17 years, and this is still the most viewed video in our history. What have you been doing since then?
Well, I own my own gym now.
MMA Institute, or
We're MMA Institute affiliated.
Mastering
it's
MMA.
Mastering MMA, yeah.
Okay.
We're in Bridgewater now. We're getting ready to move to Harrisonburg.
How many members you got?
We're pushing close to 70 active, and we've been open less than 3 years. I started
amazing.
out with, I think, 7 paying members.
Wow.
Yeah, so been on the grind.
So you enjoy it too, man.
Oh, I love it. I'm well past me fighting. That's not to say I don't think about it from time to time. I'm like, well, if things slow down, I can train a little harder. I might jump back in there.
Right.
But, huh?
Is it from your arm?
No, just, like, I stay so busy, like, I don't have time to dedicate. Like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Right?
Well, yeah, it's hard to run things and fight.
And, you know, right now, like, I'm focused on growing this business so that it can be my full-time job. I've got other coaches I want it to be their full-time job.
Right.
Like, I enjoy helping people out, and, like, this is kind of like my gift that I have.
Right.
So, like, that's how I help people out. Like, I can't tell you, like, I started coaching my sister's teams when I was 13, 14 years old. She's 7 years younger than me.
Right.
So I started helping coaching them, and, like,
Just had a gift for connecting with people.
Like, I've always been able to talk to people, and then, like, coaching them and being around other coaches and stuff, like, I've kind of learned how to coach. I would handle him different than I'd handle him than I'd handle him.
Of course.
You know, and, like, I've kind of dialed that in. All my new coaches that come up, I've got a program set up to teach them how to coach, right? They're not coming in blind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I look for certain things, and then, like, here it is, this is our program, I throw them in it. They come out a whole different type of coach afterwards.
I can say Lee is one of the few coaches in the area that I would recommend if I was sending somebody. In fact, anytime somebody comes here and asks about MMA, I try to direct them your way. What is your plans for? I heard you mention, and all of us old guys go through that, where we maybe want to snatch one more fight. Outside of you getting a fight, what's your goals for the future? Try to get your fighters to the highest level you can?
Oh, yeah. And you know, we'll get them there. It is zero question in my mind.
Now, you have a youngster of your own. You only have one kid?
No, I've got, so my oldest, he's actually graduated from college, planning on going back to med school next year. and then I have 2 stepkids, 1 small one.
See, now this shows what I know, y'all. But that's amazing, brother. You got one that's pretty little.
Yeah. He just turned 5 in December. He's a little monster. I'm not even kidding. He wrestled this weekend, wrestled up 2 weight classes, held his own.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is anything prouder, man, than seeing your son accomplish something? Like,
I'm lucky. Like I say, my oldest one's getting ready to go into medical school. Like, he's going to be a doctor.
wow.
Like, I barely made it out of high school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I was kind of a delinquent, but like I learned from my mistakes and have done everything I can to help them out. And like even at this point now, like, you know, so my oldest son, he's full grown, right?
Right.
And like the things I do with my youngest son now, like I wish I would have had the knowledge and the ability to do that with my oldest son. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
like it's not a favoritism thing. It's just I've become a better parent.
No, that's
You
right.
know?
I know
And, like,
exactly.
And like I wish I could have been that. Like, wasn't a bad parent, don't get me wrong. I was there as much as I could. Like I would
Yep.
run across to the next county to pick him up to drive him 5 minutes down to sports practice. It wasn't like I was an absentee father or anything.
Right.
But I'm so much better now. Like
You-
I was a good parent and now I'm extremely good parent.
I know exactly what you mean because my oldest kids, you know, they're 15, you know, maybe almost 20 years older than my youngest kids. And you learn so much. You
Yeah.
learn so much from parenting. Well, brother, you know, I know you're a good father. I've seen you in action. I want to tell one last story before we go on to our subjects of the day. So Lee was a monster on a football field when we used to ball, okay? Talking about coming out in the mud, the snow, battling with Lee. One game, he's out there destroying people, catching touchdowns all over, goes down and tries to, I think, catch himself.
Yeah.
And I mean the
I
arm.
stiff armed and then got tripped up.
Yeah.
That's what I stiff armed. They landed in front of me. I tripped over them when I fell. I extended my arm.
And it sounded like a gunshot.
And he was like, yeah, I think my arm's broken.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's exactly what
And
he
that
said.
motherfucker was twisted. I mean, mangled. He said, I think my arm's broke. I said, Lee, your arm's fucked up. You know, but hey, tough guy. Took him a while to heal, but he came back. He was even going to get into another game, and luckily we canceled it. Fucked up thing is, when you get to our age, you got families to feed, but you still want to play a little
Yeah.
bit, you know? I want to start off on a touchy subject, and Lee is a great guest to discuss this with us today. So it comes out that already, last year, there was 157 people accidentally killed by children with guns. Now that's 157 people. That's just the ones who were accidentally baby picked up the gun and capped them. Now, I talk about this type of stuff so much that folks start to think that I'm anti-gun. I promise you, I love the Second Amendment. Okay, but you got those incidents where babies are just walking in, picking up a pistol and shooting mommy. Now, first thing you're going to say is, well, that's irresponsible gun owners. Right? Then you got the incidents where a lot of these mass shootings, folks say, well, you know, you can't keep guns out of the hands of criminals. Most of these mass shootings, the people went and bought their guns legally. Okay? That's a sad truth, I'm telling you. Now, there's some where they didn't. Okay? So you say, well, that's mentally ill people. Can't do nothing about that but treat the mentally ill. But at some point, I feel like we got to acknowledge, yes, it's the people. But we got to acknowledge that there's fucked up people out there. We got to figure out some way to keep them from getting weapons that can kill handfuls of people. For me, and I say this every time, I don't know the answer. I do not know the answer. I don't know how to fix it, but I'm just saying we got to tweak something. You know, are you familiar with the shooting out there in Vegas, the big one? I think it was the most.
The one where he was in the hotel room?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
He, I believe it was something like 60 people that he got.
It was a lot.
Yeah. And I say to people, you know, and they don't like this argument, but people say, well, man, knives kill people too. That guy had a butcher knife that night. Does he kill 60 people? You know? And that's all I'm saying is the guns do make it easier for a person to do it. But I'm going to go around the room, but we'll start with Lee. What's your take on the mass shooting, the accidental deaths? Is there anything we can do, or should we do anything?
Man, I really struggle with this one. I teach my kids about gun safety. You know, we just talked about my just turned 5-year-old
Mm-hmm.
He's had a BB gun for 2 years,
Which I think is great.
But yeah, like he doesn't get to handle it unless but he gets taught gun safety. I have plenty of guns in my house. I have a concealed carry license.
Right.
But at the same time, say I was kind of delinquent growing up. I probably owned 15 guns before I knew you were supposed to have permits for stuff.
Right. And you got to ask.
You know what I mean?
How
I
can
had
you-
no clue about it.
And how can you get that easily? And,
Yeah.
at that age. Do you ever think, God forbid, like what scares me now is because my youngest son, he's at that age, my daughter too. And you see like in some of these school shootings, little babies, they killed little babies. And I get scared my kids going to school, man. Probably not going to happen, but could you imagine?
Yeah.
I think we talked about Uvalde, and you know the Uvalde shooting with the cops down there. This is in Texas. School named Uvalde. There's a school shooter, goes in, kills people. The cops had this real delayed response. They dicked around outside while this guy was killing kids.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure I know which one you're talking about.
So I think about stuff like that, and the one officer, his wife was a teacher. She calls him while she's laying there bleeding to death and says, he got me. He's fighting, trying to get back there to his wife, and the other cops held him back while this guy's killing kids. And it's like, man, so we know the cops won't protect us, right? We see that they may, but they may not. So then you say, well, damn, I want my own gun to be able to protect myself and my family. So it's kind of that fine line, right?
I think in that situation, teachers that want to should be allowed to go through a course
Yep.
and be able to carry.
Well, imagine. Yeah.
And I think they should have to go through a course. I think that's a big thing.
They're already making bulletproof rooms in classrooms.
Yeah. Well, they've got like emergency lock where you can close the door and have it like locked down. You can't get through it within like a few seconds.
I think that's great.
But yeah, I think teachers should be allowed to carry. I think they should have to go through a program. We're here in Virginia. It's a pretty open state as far as firearms go. I'm a big fan of let people have their firearms, let them have what they want. I'm also a big fan of you need to show competence if you're going to have your firearm in public, which we don't have.
Right.
You've got to take a safety course, which is super easy. Like if you took hunter safety in school and slept through it and got your little certificate, that counts.
There's people that should not have a weapon. I mean,
I agree.
People that are just incompetent.
Like in Texas, you have to show competence. Like they've got 2 different concealed permits, whether it's a revolver or it's a semi-automatic.
Oh.
Right? So you have to show, if you want to carry a revolver, you have to go through a test and show competence with your revolver.
That's good.
If you want to carry, say, a Glock, you've got to be able to show competence with the Glock. Different types of weapons, different types of safety mechanisms.
I like that.
And I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to carry, you should know what you're doing. So what do you think, Elijah? Let's start with y'all. All of y'all, what do you think?
Are we talking about the gun safety for children?
I'm talking in general, the gun epidemic. Can it be fixed? Do we need more laws?
You can't fix it perfectly, but you can definitely make it more strict on who gets the weapons, right?
I like
that.
the competence idea.
Yeah.
I do too.
Just to at least run people through something instead of just throwing them out for everybody to have,
I think with like making it harder to get, that just pushes
Exactly.
people to get it where it's not going to be. a big
Black
deal.
market.
That's what I'm saying. Like I had no idea like you had to pass background test. Like I owned 10, 15 guns. Like no clue about it.
Well,
they were sitting in my Cadillac. There's a shotgun laying on the seat, ready to go. Like you know what I mean? It's like I had no clue about the gun laws.
That's a good point. I mean, if you at least make it, hey, you got to be taught when you get your gun. You won't drive people on the ground, but they'll still learn. I can dig that. But I just tell you, I know as a parent, we all want it safer. Everybody should want it safer. Nobody, at the same time, nobody wants to be outgunned by the criminals. I always talk about this every time because it makes me sick to my stomach. That Buffalo mass shooting at supermarket. Yeah. Well, look, I made the mistake of watching the vid. And there was a security guard in there, Lee. I don't know if you've seen this, but the security guard, he had been there for 20 years. He was known all throughout the neighborhood. He was a retired cop, known as a real tough guy, but a nice guy. So, you probably as a security guard and a cop, you sit there every day thinking, what would I do if a mass shooter came in here? Well, sure enough, he hears the AR-15 going off outside. Then he sees the guy walk inside with the AR-15 and says, I'm gonna kill everybody. Cop draws down on him, shoots, perfect, center mass. Guy had a bulletproof vest on, gunned him down, you know? And that's the other thing. How the fuck do we have citizens with bulletproof vests? There's gotta be some point where we're not selling warfare items to the citizens. Now, I get it, but honestly, in your day-to-day life, what do you need a bulletproof vest for? Honestly, like home defense? I mean, if we have a zombie apocalypse, I could see it. Now, a firearm, I get it. We all could possibly need that. I just don't see a bulletproof vest. Have you ever been in a situation outside of some street shit where you thought you could use a bulletproof vest?
I personally haven't, but let's say I live in ghetto in Chicago,
Good point.
right? Like,
Never know.
I could see me doing whatever I got to do to get that.
Hey, you know,
Even if I'm not out running the streets and doing the stuff I shouldn't be doing, like for me and my family, I'd be trying to get that. I'd be at Lowe's buying pieces of steel and sewing them in hoodies.
Well, yeah.
I mean, for real, right?
Yeah. You know, I tell you, man, honestly, I just hope for the next generation we tone it up a little bit, because I'm going to leave off this subject with this stat, and I'm not going to give it accurately. But for us being a first world country, the only people that have equal gun deaths to us are all third world countries. Okay? Countries like France and places in the UK, Australia, they don't have this problem. All right? So you got to ask yourself, was America just fucked up? Or what is going on
We
here?
have more guns than people, don't we?
Well, we're getting
I
there.
can't believe it.
Yeah. Oh, well, put it this way.
If the stats are close, I guarantee we do.
Right, because that's what I was going to
'Cause
say.
I know there's piles of people that have guns that aren't registered.
That's what I was getting ready to say. The stats say we've got about 400 million guns for 500 million people or something like that. Then you factor in how many is probably not registered or whatever. Oh, yeah.
I mean, how many guns have been lost in boating accidents because
Right.
they're worried the government's going to come take them?
Well, and that's it. You know,
I mean, seriously. Like, so that number is way higher.
speaking of guns and crime, etc., I want to go into this next thing. A man gets awarded $1.1 million after he spent 17 years in prison for a crime that his doppelganger committed. Do we all know what a doppelganger is?
They look exactly like that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to show you all this picture. Pretty fucking close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Was he
mean, come
convicted
on.
for?
I mean,
Yeah.
look. I can see that, but like, still, there is a difference.
There is a difference, but they do look pretty
But,
damn
like, if you're
similar.
dumb enough, and most officers are pretty fucking stupid.
Well, I didn't say it, you said it.
Yeah.
You know, listen, let me ask y'all, would you do 17 years for 1.1 million?
Give
Look,
me 10 mil.
yeah,
God,
That's not even enough.
give me
17,
100.
guys, 17 years could be almost a quarter of your life.
Talk about life.
Did he have a charge he got?
Well, I guess he got a robbery or a shooting.
Oh,
I think it was a robbery that had a shooting involved,
What
but
the hell are the
I'm
thumbprints? Are we not thumbprinting people out here? What's
well,
I mean, what is going on?
look,
yeah.
I think it's safe to assume that they didn't have any prints or DNA, and that's how this happened. But I want to ask y'all, you know, we see this happen. They say eyewitness testimony is the single most unreliable part of prosecutions there is. Eyewitness testimony. People get it wrong all the time. Should people be able to be sent to prison without DNA or some kind of physical evidence?
If it's something that serious, you should be really extensive on how it's solved.
I agree.
Yeah, 'cause if you about to send somebody 17 years, come on, man.
Under the heat of the moment, you can't really like be like, oh, it was him. See what I'm
Right.
saying? Most people forget.
Maybe a little traffic violation, sure, but when it comes to like big charges, felony charges,
Yeah,
you
like
can't just
murder.
leave it up to the jury.
What do you think, Lee? You think somebody should be?
Without DNA, I think there needs to be a pile of evidence.
Yeah,
People can be easily tricked and or confused.
yeah,
And especially like police know tactics, and if they want to pin it on somebody, like you can use wordplay to
Mhm.
get somebody to convince themselves this is what it is, whether it is or not.
And they've proven also, just another example, this don't apply to this particular case, but I've had people say, well, he confessed, there's your proof right there. False confessions are huge. It's a big thing. It's happened. If you go look up the Central Park 5, which we talked on Scarface's Street Stories, Central Park 5 all confessed to the crime. And it was later found without a shadow of doubt they didn't do it. What led to their confession? The cops came in and said, well, we got multiple eyewitnesses that seen you do it, buddy. You're convicted. Save yourself. Just admit to this.
That's how that's a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're also telling them, like, it'll be better for you if you admit to it than if you go to court.
They'll sit you in that interrogation room for days.
Yeah, they'll talk about I'll help you out. They'll buy you McDonald's.
Well, when you think about the tactics that are allowed, and I've been in a police interrogation room. Look, this ain't bragging. I know how to frustrate them. I mean, I had them so mad they beat me. And I'm telling you, because, look, I'm going to tell y'all this. Allegheny PD, I'm looking at you, baby. I was in there, 16 years old, being questioned about 5 armed robberies. They pulled me in, had me in a jail. I sent out to the guards. I said, yo, I got some info, some important info. Need to talk to you. So they come grab me out, take me up to the holding cell. We start talking, interrogation room. We start talking. They said, what's the info? I said, man, I just want a cigarette before I give it to you. So they gave me a cigarette. I lit it up. I'm talking, smoking. They said, all right, what's the info? I said, the Pittsburgh Steelers won 4 Super Bowls in the 70s. You motherfucker. Pow! Black my eye, beat me up. I dicked them around for days like that. But now, they kept me in that room. They're not supposed to stop you from using the restroom. They did. I missed several meals, which to this day, if I had fought it, could have been a bigger deal. But my point is this: if I was a weaker-minded person, they'd have broke me. I was just a mean kid. Have you ever been in an interrogation, Lee, at all?
Nothing like that. I've been in minor stuff.
They can be pressureful,
Yeah.
though. So let me ask y'all this. Should cops, the last question on this subject, should cops be able to lie to get a confession?
I mean, no, but they still gonna do it.
Okay, now let's flip it though. Somebody abducted your child, and they know this guy did it. They know he did it, but he's tough and he just won't break. So the only way to get him to break is to lie and say, well, look, we got your DNA from the scene. We got you. Would you then say they shouldn't lie?
Well, listen, hey, good point.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, because if it comes something personal like that, I probably.
You got spice kids.
Everybody, I think, should just wisen up though and ask for lawyers.
Yeah.
Just stop talking to the police.
It's a game of cat and mouse. So actually, I was going to bring this up. So we're starting a kids program at my gym this summer. Is the game plan on that? And along with us teaching martial arts, we're teaching life lessons and this and that and other. And we're going to talk to the kids about the same thing that I talk to my kids about. Like, if something minor happens, you come tell your teacher.
Right.
Right. If that same stuff keeps happening, you have my permission to handle it.
Right.
Right? If this kid keeps walking by and flicking your ear,
you
tell
gotta
the
do
teacher.
something.
If the teacher doesn't handle it,
Yep.
when I get called in there for you busting their ass, I'm going to tell the teacher they had their opportunity to fix this.
Yep.
And it is what it is at this point. That's your fault, not my child's. Because my child's not going to sit there and have this kid flick him in the ear every time he walks by.
That's right.
My child goes in the office, the only thing he's going to say is, I felt threatened, I need to speak with my parents.
And that's it.
And then when I walk in there, I'm going to see what the situation is.
Mm-hmm.
There's not going to be an adult talking to my kid trying to figure out what's happening. I'm going to see what the situation is, and it's either going to be, this is what it is, blah, blah, blah. My kid's going to come home, take a suspension, play video games because he did nothing wrong.
Yep.
Or it's going to be like, okay, this seems a little serious. I'll have my lawyer in here.
Well, and
that's where it stops. And that actually comes from gun safety classes. Because if I'm in a shooting, I'm going to jail.
Right.
Right, wrong, it could be plain as day I was right. I'm going to jail that night. And the only thing I'm going to say is I felt family, life was threatened. I need to speak with a lawyer. And that is the only thing that will come out of my mouth, period.
And that's smart.
And I'm going to let somebody smarter than me handle all this dumb little cat and mouse game for me.
Hey, lawyers
Listen.
love that shit too. They'll do it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Well, let me tell you, my son Elijah was accused of some some BS when he was young, and cops played me like a fiddle. They played me like a fiddle and twisted my son's words and so on and so forth. And I made a mistake, cardinal mistake that I never make because I don't talk to police. And I told Elijah, hey, you tell him the truth, blah, blah, blah. And he tried to tell me repeatedly, Dad, it's not the truth. Point is, Lee's right. You know, you get pulled over, it's not officer friendly out here. He's trying to get a confession out of you. And I can promise you that we've seen this. They could 10 years from now find all this evidence that says you're innocent. They will fight it as hard as they can because they don't want their conviction overturned, you know. So it's up to you to keep your ass out of jail.
Hey, you ever seen that video of it was the New Mexico police, right? The state police. They pulled this guy over and they had talked to him in the front of his car for like 30 minutes. And he's like, all right, you're free to go, whatever. So the guy gets out of the car and is going back to his car, and he stops him halfway and asks him to come back and answer more questions. And he didn't.
Oh.
And they got him. He had like 30 pounds of weed in the car.
You idiot.
And he was gone. He said, you're free to go. He could have got in and left, but he came back and he answered more questions.
Yeah.
That cop was slick, though.
I'm just going to be honest, guys. You can never help yourself by talking to the police. You cannot help yourself do it. Let me rephrase that. If you're a suspect, you can't help yourself by talking to them. See, the mistake people make is they think, well, if I talk to them, I can convince them that it's not me. You can't. They think it's you, okay? And you talking is the only thing going to convince them is if there's some evidence somewhere that says otherwise. So just keep your mouth shut. Listen, next subject, we got a Navy SEAL. He was a door breacher. Does everybody know what a door breacher is?
It sounds kind of self-explanatory.
They put small explosives, or they use a shotgun and they breach doorways for, attacks. He believed that exposures to these small blasts not only injured his ears, it injured his brain. And he believed that for years. He was having bouts of depression, fits of anger, etc. Well, he ended up dead. And he signed an affidavit beforehand donating his brain to science. He wanted to prove it. And sure enough, this guy had severe CTE like a fucking prize fighter. So, I wouldn't have thought that it's an explosion. It don't matter that it's a small explosion, but I just wouldn't have thought that an explosion would injure your brain like that. Would you have thought that?
It's the impact.
I mean, as soon as you said, I've never thought about it, but as soon as you said it, I'm like, I 100% believe he's got it. Because they're right on it.
Right.
It's not they're setting an explosive that's 30 feet away. They're blowing that door open and blowing through it, so they are right on top of that.
And you figure an explosion, they show scientifically that each explosion, there's waves that come off of boom, boom, that you can't see. And those waves go through your tissue. So it makes sense. When you are exposed to that over and over, of course it's going to hurt your brain. Now, I say this, and I say it all the time. I love our troops. I respect our military. If you wonder why America don't get invaded constantly, it's not because people like us.
Because we're the best of the best.
We're the best.
Okay?
We're actually the best.
It's because we got a gun problem.
We got a gun problem.
Nobody wants to invade America.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's
And
1,000 hillbillies within 20 miles of here that's like, please come here, I'm shooting you.
That's right.
Yeah, they looking forward to it.
70% of our budget to the military.
well, we're the only country with multiple aircraft carriers.
We have like 18.
Yeah, we talked about this on the other show. We just got the best military. But the point I'm making is this: shouldn't we take a little bit better care of our soldiers?
No, that's facts. They should not be ending up homeless.
That's the biggest thing.
Fucked up,
Especially, okay, I really don't differentiate between somebody who fought and somebody who was just active duty, but especially somebody that actually went and fought. I feel like that person should never have to work again.
Yeah,
That's
should
my
be a
opinion.
paycheck every month for that person.
Lee, do you have any family that was military or anything? Yeah. What do you think? Do they take good enough care of our veterans?
It depends on the situation. The guys that come out and are all right, no issues. They're not having, trauma from it. Those guys are sitting pretty well for the most part. I know quite a few that have been in and, they're happy with what they've got, helped them out with their school,
Right.
They're getting paychecks while they're going to school.
Right.
Things like that. I know others that have come back from the military and been completely different people.
Yeah.
I had a close friend of mine in high school that I used to run around with a good bit, and he came back from the military. This was years ago, but I was out at a party, and I'm joking around with his brother. We were playing beer pong, and
Yeah.
I'm joking around. We're laughing, joking, talking trash to each other, and he flips about me running my mouth to his brother. His brother's like, "Calm down, like we're just playing, buddy." But yeah, completely flipped. Hasn't been the same person since he came back.
And a person like that should be
he's not
careful.
getting taken care of enough.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But along those same lines, I don't think anybody that's in public service is getting taken care of enough.
They're not.
Teachers, rescue squad, firefighters. I'm a believer that police are a necessary evil. I'm not a hater of them. I'm not a lover of them.
I know what
I
you
think they're a
mean.
necessary evil.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
There's quite a few that use the power the way they shouldn't. There's way more that are in there just trying to do their job. There's some that are in there that are great cops.
That's right.
You're gonna have all different but I think if they were taken care of more, we would have more people who would be better at the job.
Qualified, more intelligent. Yep.
Like, I mean, back in the day with my training with this, like, I could have made a very good police officer.
I agree.
It don't pay enough to bring me to put my life into jeopardy.
Well, I've said that
I
before.
just say
10
straight
an hour,
up, huh?
$10 an hour or something.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know
it's-
what it
it's
works
not
out.
quite- it's
and
a
it's
little-
gone up,
Man,
but
it's
it's
probably a
still.
little more now, like
Yeah.
but still.
But it's like this, and Lee's got a point, and I said this for a long
And more
time.
power to the ones that do it. Like, I'm
Well,
not
yeah.
knocking them at all.
Yeah,
Like,
I hate
good for you. Like, I
But-
think that's amazing. Especially the ones that are doing it for the right reasons.
But super qualified people are going to go out and look for good paying jobs. And yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Well, I'll say this. Honestly, I think that the people that care for our country, be it teachers, police officers, the military, should be cared for. Teachers get royally screwed
Well, I was
over.
gonna say, they're really underpaid out here, these teachers.
They are.
This is the future of our nation.
There's a teacher at my old high school, 18 years, $56,000 yearly.
Damn.
Most teachers have to work another job.
That's
Exactly.
wild.
Teachers like
That's
that.
wild.
They start out at like 30, 32.
That's wild. But, and that's why teachers underperform and there's not a lot of qualified candidates. But
And it's worse in the inner cities.
it is.
Right? Because you have even less qualified people there.
And I'm going to make everybody mad at me. I don't know why they hate on this woman, okay? She has not been on the podcast, but look, Sexy Red.
Hey, before
Ski
you even go,
you.
hey, we need you on the pod.
We got to get you on.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I can't even picture you bumping that in
Look,
the truck while you're
I'm not going to bump it, but when it comes on, I play it. Like, she's entertaining as hell. She's wild. I don't give a fuck. I don't know what it is about her, but I like her.
Tupac never bumped Sexy Red, man, and he never would have.
Yeah, that's no
He
cap.
never would have bumped no side.
I just don't understand all the youngins hating on her. Like, then there's some that hate on Ice Spice, which is wild. I think neither one of them are great rappers, but they're entertaining. Sexy Red, though, she's something else.
Hit the bag.
What you got? I ain't gave y'all time to think of songs, but I know you got something.
I got Fuck Up Feature by Keith Lock. That whole album, I'm starting to fuck with heavy. I'm not. His main little hook, he only going by himself, Fuck Up Feature.
So he didn't have nobody on it.
Nobody.
Oh, because it's called Fuck Off. That's it.
The album's called Fuck a Feature or the song?
It all clicked. The light bulb
Yeah.
went off.
Yeah.
I was like, wait,
Not
this
the album.
is in it.
It's the song.
Said Fuck a Feature. Okay, I'm gonna have to. Y'all bring this dude Key Glock up every week, so I'm gonna have to check into this.
You got me on Netflix.
What you got, Justice?
Man, I talk about rap way too much on here, man. So we talk about R&B now.
Uh
Right my
oh.
wrongs, Bryson Tiller. That's my guy.
I like
Bryson
Bryson
used to
Tiller.
be that motherfucker.
Hey, why he drop one album and disappear?
That's why I'm saying. You
Who
need to
does
drop
this?
more
It's
music,
Bryson
man.
Tiller.
Needs to be studied.
Bryson Tiller is.
Why he dropped
You don't know
one
who
album?
Bryson Tiller is?
Hey,
No.
He dropped one album.
Right my wrongs off a trap soul. Man, that got me.
Listen. See, they bring a name up every week. I don't know who the fuck they talking about, but I know I'm looking him up. The guy's pretty popular.
He popped.
Exactly.
R&B goat.
So I like to switch up. You got
That's a big call. Goat.
Yeah.
Nobody hears her on
That's
it.
what trying to
Yeah.
Hey, I'm trying to stir the OGs up.
Yeah.
Nah,
That's
I'll check it
wild.
out. I'm a big fan of R&B.
You gonna
I'll
put
definitely check
him
out.
over R. Kelly over? And look, I know R. Kelly did fucked up shit, but you cannot.
That should disqualify him from the list right there.
Well, listen.
Musically, it don't though.
Yeah,
That's
nah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying.
Musically, he's on. Like
That's
that,
what-
that
He
dude's
still
a piece
gets
of
the
shit.
bag,
And
yeah.
I would love to get locked in a room with him and torture him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he made good music.
He still
Listen,
gets
Like
that's
I
the
can
thing.
separate the two.
That's what I was gonna
Like I can
say.
say, I hate my boss, but he's a cool dude.
You
You know what I
gotta
mean?
be
Like
able.
work-wise, fuck him.
We can't bury his art because he did fucked up
So then
shit.
what about 6ix9ine?
I never liked his art.
I just
So
like,
I like 6ix9ine playing in the gym.
Yeah.
He's just a hype man. He's
Yeah.
a newer version of Little John, for real.
Right.
Like
I mean,
he's just a hype guy.
These
Like
people-
that
these
stuff
people
playing in the
want
gym.
that.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
I mean, for me, I just was 6ix9ine. It was never my bag, But at the same time, if his music's good, I'll listen to it.
First came out, it was good.
Yeah.
6ix9ine? Oh, he was
As
fucking.
6ix9ine made a new song recently.
I
He's
don't
doing
think
that.
so.
He's doing that Spanish shit, ain't he?
He is.
He's like,
Yeah, yeah.
First wave, yeah.
I unfollowed his ass.
Hey, he's gonna come after you now.
What you got, Nate?
Hey, this one's pretty young, it's right.
Yeah.
It's by Peasy. 2 million up by Peasy.
Peasy. Who the
You ain't never heard that shit?
Nah.
Oh, that's wild. Hey, that's a song that just sounds good in the car when you're driving.
So
Peasy?
you drive it when you drive it like this with the rap.
See,
You know
y'all
what's
fucking
crazy
me up.
is he was trying to get away from me the other night on the interstate.
We gonna get the lead now. Lee, I know you get put on the spot. You got a song you've been fucking with lately?
Man, for real, I have no clue what's playing. Music's
Really?
playing. I'm on the computer, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm listening to whatever my kids are listening to.
My man,
But,
my man.
I'll tell you what, like, I hear a lot of trap music because that's what my littlest one's drawn to. I'm not even joking.
He likes trap music?
Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah, my 5-year-old. He will be walking around the house singing like "Cut It" and stuff.
Nah.
And I'm laughing. And then, like my one stepson, he's a freshman. So like whatever they're listening to, it's always playing there at the house or whatever.
Who's your favorite rapper?
It might be Busta for real.
Oh, I fuck with Busta.
Oh.
I fuck with Busta. I do. I mean, even now when Busta Rhymes comes on a track, you get hype.
And he got hands. You see, he beat that dude up backstage that one time.
I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
you remember that? Yeah, because he came on stage or something.
Well, he
wasn't
was on pro football for a while too, wasn't he?
Yeah, Busta was
That's a big dude.
Yeah, he's,
big.
Yeah, he's huge. I think it was him and somebody else. They beat this dude up. He came on the stage or something. They know what I'm talking about.
Lost
Ooh.
Boys and Wu Tang. I'm big into that too.
Yeah. NFL free agency has been wild. I'm going to start with my Ravens. We got Derrick Henry. I'm not even going to go deep into
Read
this.
option is going to be absurd.
Can you imagine? You got to defend Lamar Jackson.
You're an NFL linebacker, right? You see those two motherfuckers on the field.
Are you going to get trucked? Or are you going to get your legs broke?
Hey, that team's banned on Madden.
Right? I mean, it's crazy. It's
I'm
crazy.
banning them every time.
That whole division is stacked up.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. So Pittsburgh calls themselves going out. They get Russell Wilson, which, by the way, Denver, y'all wrong. Y'all wrong for how you did Russell.
They get Justin Fields.
Then
Don't
they get
forget.
Justin Fields.
They
He's
get
not a
Patrick
backup
Queen.
quarterback.
They
Did
got
they-
Patrick Queen.
didn't
No,
they
he's
get
not.
Justin Simmons too.
Yeah, no, I thought Simmons went to the Bengals. I might be wrong. Either way,
Either
then the
way.
Browns go. They take our boy Snoop, our backup quarterback. Cincy, I think, brought in some. Point is, everybody going wild. What was the one you told me that left from the Saints or with Chase?
Chase Young, he went to the Saints.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody blowing up. Lee, who's your football team?
I don't root for a team. I look for good games, and I got ADHD. Red zone, man, that is like football crack for me.
So you
I'm like, oh, something's happening. Oh, something's happening. I stopped doing all kinds of stuff. I'll have my computer there trying to work, or I'll be supposed to be doing stuff around the house. I'm standing there staring at TV.
Hey, listen.
30 minutes. I'm like, oh man, I have to get this done before she
At
gets
least-
home. I'm running around cleaning shit.
You get all the touchdowns at
Yeah.
least.
But yeah, I look for good games. I'm that way with all sports. Like I don't root for fighters. I don't root for any teams. I
Just like
look
entertaining.
for what's going to be the a good game.
Let me ask you, speaking of fighters, who's your favorite fighter all time, or do you have one?
I don't have one. I honestly I look for fights that I think I'm going to enjoy, and then I watch people that I want to learn from.
That's wise. Now look, speaking of fighters, Ryan Garcia.
What is going on?
I genuinely think the boy might be mentally ill.
You know,
What's
it's
he talking
been
about,
2
demons?
weeks.
You're talking about demons,
He
you're talking
posted,
about people
girl,
coming out
girl,
from
girl. Then he was posting about the government, how they took him to the woods, all that. I'm not going to speak on that.
Yeah.
Now he's just talking about boxing. He's talking about he's locked in. He put like 10 of the same posts talking about he's locked in.
But let me ask y'all, does it sound like he's playing mind games with Haney? Or is he got some legit problems?
I feel like it's 5-star marketing, even though.
It is promoting the fight.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, people tuning in, right? Then in boxing, we got something I want to talk about. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Look, my initial take, I want to make this clear so everybody fucking understands me. My initial take is I don't like it. I don't like it because Mike Tyson is 57 years old, about to be 58. He's a legend of the sport. Jake Paul is nowhere near a legend of the sport. Why do I say that? He hasn't earned the right to get in the ring with Mike Tyson. I know that anything can happen in a boxing match. Anything. So, you put this guy, Jake Paul, in the ring with Mike Tyson when he hasn't earned the right. And let's say he somehow looks up and beats him. He didn't earn that right.
Have you
Okay.
seen
Maybe with the
Mike
rules.
Tyson training this week?
I've seen Mike
It's
training
insane.
this
You
week.
see that statement he put out? He said
I
he was
did.
in
He's taking it
WWE
serious,
with
yeah.
his brother. That's what he said.
Let me just say this.
He's taking it serious, but that age matters.
Listen,
Like y'all are saying, yeah, but y'all don't know.
it
He
catches
knows
up.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like he's training hard. He ain't hitting hard every day like he used to. I
Regardless,
promise
it's
you
Mike
that.
fucking Tyson.
Well,
It
I
is.
think it's gonna be a headgear, right?
No,
No,
they
it's
Was that not
pro
a thing?
sanction. It's pro sanction.
Did it get
Oh, shit.
sanctioned?
It got
I knew they were trying to get
pro-sanctioned.
it sanctioned, but I didn't know.
There was some
that it had
false
gone through.
rumors floating around that it was going to be an 18-ounce gloves and headgear. That is not true.
Well, I felt
It's not true. Now, here's what I'll say to y'all.
Mike's gonna bite his ear.
I think even with Mike's age, I think that Mike Tyson still hits like a train. I'll bet you money on that. I don't think Jake Paul has faced anybody close to the caliber, boxing-wise, of Mike Tyson. I also don't think, even with Spider Silva didn't have nowhere near the punching power that Mike Tyson has. If Mike touches Jake anywhere near the way he wants to touch him, Jake goes night-night. With all that said, Jake Paul's got the youth. If Jake Paul can survive for 3 rounds, I'm going to start to get worried.
It's gonna be
Because
3 rounds.
no, it's going to be like 8 rounds, and that's what I'm saying.
He's saying if he can survive 3
Oh, yeah,
rounds,
yeah,
then the
He just gotta
it's going to
tag
start
Logan
to
in.
swing in his favor.
Well, yeah, because even Mike Tyson in his prime, it was known if you made it past 5 rounds with Mike Tyson, you had a good chance of beating him. And that was prime Mike. 57-year-old Mike, if he gets to 3 rounds, if he don't take Jake out in 1 or 2, I'm worried. And I'm just telling you.
how big
It's,
his chin is.
well, look, his chin ain't good enough to take a shot from Mike. Some of the best that ever did
He
it
got
couldn't
knocked
take
down
it.
by Tommy Fury.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
probably got.
So,
he probably got 3 good rounds.
and that's what I'm saying. Okay, here's what you got to ask yourself, because everybody's like, well, Mike is 57. He's 57. He's 57. Yes, he is. But do you think 57-year-old Mike Tyson is better than Tommy Fury? Tommy Fury was a 6-0 boxer that nobody fucking heard of. If you go look at his opponents, it was Joe Blow off the street. So I still think Mike, even at 57, youth matters. It does. But experience has got to count for something. And having a top 10 all-time punch has to count for something.
George Foreman, did he? You know, he was pretty old.
Foreman
He
won.
came back later in life.
He won a
Wasn't quite
world
57, right?
title at 46. At 46, he won a world title. Now, 57 to 46 is a big difference.
Yeah.
But the guy
The world
he beat,
title and Jake Paul's a big difference too.
that's right. So, and the last point I'll make, Archie Moore won multiple boxing matches, pro level, against big name guys at age 50. Bernard Hopkins won a title at age 50.
Yeah.
If they can do that, I think Mike Tyson could beat Jake Paul. So I'm buying the pay-per-view. Jake, you got me. You got me, bro. I'm buying the pay-per-view. Let's get an official prediction from everybody. what do you think happens? If
Well-
let's say it's a real fight.
So I would like to say that I would have to say Jake Paul is a legend in boxing, not for boxing ability, but for promotion ability.
I'll agree.
Like, you name me another promoter that could take a guy with his record and make that kind of money.
No, I
Right?
agree.
So, like, for real,
He's
like,
a marketing genius.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's a boxing legend, but not for his skill.
I agree.
And I think he's a mid-level boxer, pro boxer.
I agree.
I think he gets knocked on a lot because he's a YouTube, and I think it's a lot of people just hating because he's got things that other people want.
Bingo. Yep.
But he's also not a high-level boxer. I think if he's smart, Jake Paul's going to avoid and touch. I think he could pull out a point swing. I personally want Tyson to knock him out.
Of course you do.
Yeah,
And I do
want to
too.
see him sleeping.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, Jake, you know, you've watched some of our Street Beef stuff. You shouted us out. I got nothing against you, brother. I like your success, but I'm old school. Mike's from my generation, so I want, of course, want to see I want to see the old guys win. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Who you got?
Mike, man. I
You-
would just say, just because if they take it serious, right? If it's a real fight, I got him in the first 3 rounds. If it goes past that, like he said, he's probably going to take it on points or something.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm hoping none of this is like fixed or anything. 'cause
That's
there's
what
always
I'm
been
worried about.
speculation
Yeah.
about Jake's
Yeah.
I
He's a
don't
big
see
fan.
Mike taking a fixed fight.
Me
I
either.
don't see it either. Exactly.
Me
That's what
either.
I was thinking. I was like,
Mike's
this
There's
is
no reason for him to do it,
He's
right?
got all
'Cause,
the money
like,
he needs.
at one point he was broke, but he's not now. Like, he's made good investments. Like, as he's gotten older, he's gotten smart. He's calmed down. He's made a lot of good things.
He's got some business.
He sells weed gummies now that are shaped like ears. And
He
that's
I've
making
seen
him,
that, I've
that's
seen
making him a pile of money, right?
His
Like he ain't
podcast.
hurting for the money. I don't see any reason why he would take a fall there.
No, I agree.
Unless he really wants Jake Paul to do something and it's him trying to move him up. That's the only way it could be, and I don't see that happening.
I always hear Mike, he used to talk about this as he got older. He said, there was a point where Mike ballooned up to 300 pounds. 300 pounds. And Mike said, I stopped training because when I get in shape, my ego comes out and I want to fight again. Now, Mike's in shape. And he said on an Instagram post the other day, he said, my ego's back. Mike Tyson's ego will not allow him to take a dive. I don't believe it. I think he's going to fight.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Even
I
if
think he
did,
fights
I
this guy
I
hard.
don't think it'd be to Jake Paul.
Jake's
No.
dead.
People,
He's not going to let Jake fucking Paul beat him.
Nah.
Jake's going to have to do it. What do you got?
Jake's dead.
Hey.
RIP.
So-
Well, with age too, you can't take blows like you used to.
Yeah, but it's Mike
That
Tyson.
no, that's a good
I mean,
point.
I agree, but I'm saying like if Jake's smart and he's on his bicycle and he's touching him and moving and doesn't get caught in a corner,
Yeah,
like, he's gonna Mike Tyson's gonna tire out way
He gives
faster than
people
he used to.
CTE, then says he's sorry the next minute.
Yeah,
That's
that-
Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah, that's-
I
But
just
I'm saying that if Jake Paul stays on his horse, right? He's not he's not planting.
If he's running?
Yeah.
He's touching him. He moves. He touches him. And then once Tyson slows down, he starts.
Then he
actually
got-
boxing.
yeah.
I think he's got a very
If Mike
good chance.
is
of
starting to
beating
move like a rabid dog like he used to,
yeah, if he can cut
Yeah,
him
that's
off,
not
Like,
gonna do it like
he'll
he used to.
definitely be able to get inside at least.
Like,
Yeah.
like, that's the thing. Like he's 58. Like it's not gonna be like he used to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like he fought with Mercer, right?
he fought Roy Jones Jr.
George, yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
he-
But
He looked
and he
good.
looked good, but he's still nowhere close to what he used to.
he's not. Listen,
And you can't get back there.
No.
Not clean.
I think, and I'll wrap it up with this so we go to the world swings back. My opinion is Mike Tyson at 60% of himself is still better than Jake. I believe that, and that's no shot at Jake. Jake is just starting. He's only 8 fights into his career.
What he's done is amazing.
It's amazing, but I think that Mike, as an old man, should still beat Jake, but we'll see.
Alright, so I think this was in Massachusetts, right? Or, over there in some parts of that. There was a teenage girl in high school, right? Her and her boyfriend they started getting these messages, like threatening messages and stuff. Thousands of them, right?
Oh.
And they were like, well, what the fuck? So they went to the authorities, they went to the teachers and everything, and they were like, look, we're getting these messages. The FBI gets involved, everything, and it turns out these text messages were coming from her own mother.
What?
Cyberbullying for over a year. She was harassing her own daughter and her boyfriend.
Why?
They never
Why?
said why. I don't know what it was, but she admitted she did it. You know?
Did she get arrested?
She got arrested. Yeah, she's facing felonies and everything. So
That is wow.
yeah, she was over a year cyberbullying her own daughter. She was trying to make it look like her classmates were doing it to her. All kinds of crazy stuff.
Evil. Could you imagine, Lee? I know I don't need to ask you this question.
Come on,
Could you
man.
imagine doing something like that to your children?
I don't know. I bully my kids a lot.
Well,
Yeah.
But it's playful. No, I couldn't do anything like that.
no.
What's crazy
Yeah,
because I guess she
that's
was a
nuts.
coach at the school. She was
The-
a basketball coach
The
at
the,
that
the
school.
mom was.
Yeah.
What was her reasoning? Did she say anything
I
about it?
don't think they said why she did it.
This is just
I don't know if she
wow.
just didn't want them to be together. I think she was getting jealous of her or some shit. You know.
It's almost like a
I'll get accused of being sexist here, but ladies, women are territorial. You know, even with their daughters, with their sisters, you know, if they feel like maybe some shine's going over here, they can be downright nasty, dude. Yeah, I think it's what you're saying. There was some jealousy
I think
involved.
that's what it was.
You know, but
I couldn't find why they said that she did that, but it's crazy. Over a year, they said there was like hundreds of thousands of text messages.
Yeah.
y'all look this story up. Look this story up and give us your opinions below on why she did it. Hey, Lee, I want to ask you before we go, any social media you want to shout out?
We're on just about everything. We're most
Instagram?
Active. Yeah, we're most active on Facebook and Instagram.
So I want to say to y'all, mastering MMA, okay? I've known this man for some years now. Well, shit. He came around basically the first year of Street Beats. I've known him for 17 years almost. Listen,
Man,
good.
you're old.
I know. You've stayed young, you know. I tell you, this is a good dude, very knowledgeable, very skilled in what he does, great coach. So for one, if you're local and you want into MMA, he's the man. But secondly, go give him a follow. Instagram, is it just Mastering MMA?
Yeah, we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're on like TikTok and I don't know, whatever else. I don't even know what all we're on.
But you everywhere.
We're on all kinds of stuff, but
Hey, if you got the app,
we're
they
more
on there.
active. Yeah, we're more active on Facebook, Instagram. We're trying to get back to YouTube more.
My man.
Opened up the business, kind of sucked all my extra spare minutes.
Well,
Like to the point where I'm sleeping 2 to 4 hours a day.
YouTube can build slow too, you know. Lee, it was great to have you, my brother. We appreciate you. Look, y'all, we're back to every week now. We will be releasing an episode every single week, so make sure you tune in. Make sure you go give my friend a follow on his social media. We love y'all. See you next time. Make sure if the world punches you in your mouth, you and bust it back. Peace.